why not ChatGPT while DeepL?
It's just better. Building in Europe, you have all of those languages around you. Every employee really understands the problem.
Translation Gummy is ready.
Das Verständnis für die Sprache.
I think that's the focus.
Ich meine, wir sind in
And that's also the understanding of the language.
The big tech company are working on this on Google Meet, Apple, AirPods, Microsoft also.
With thousands and thousands of translators that we have been working with. And we have the research firepower. Every mistake actually is dangerous. This is, I think, where DeepL shines.
One-on-One Tech 始まります。今日のテーマは翻訳ツールはそれでも必要なのかです。AI 翻訳はすっかりおなじみのツールになったわけなんですけども、皆さん日々何を使っているでしょうか。一時期大きな話題となったのが DeepL です。で Google 翻訳よりもこれ自然な訳をしてくれるってことで、すごくバズったんですけども、今では ChatGPT だとか Gemini など、AI モデルで事足りるんじゃないかなんてことも言われていたりします。そう思う方も少なくないと思います。ただそれでもですね DeepL のユーザーがまだ広がり続けているらしいということで、一体どういうことなのか、今日はドイツから来日中の DeepL の CEO に直撃したいと思います。日々仕事で英語に困っていらっしゃる方はぜひ見ていただきたいと思います。というわけでご紹介します DeepL のヤレック・クテロフスキー CEO です。So thank you for coming, Jarek.
It's a pleasure being here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So people in Japan probably recognize DeepL as the translation tool that went sort of viral back a few years back, and then they got they excited about its performance. This is better than Google Translate. This is better than all the existing translation tools and all sorts of things. And but it's been a while since then. So could you walk us through what DeepL does right now?
Yeah. I mean, we are mostly focused already back then, but even more so nowadays, at high quality, accurate translation for business usage. Like at any place and any time where you need the most reliable translation tool, and we're specifically focused on that. So think about all of those business situations when you're talking to a customer maybe, or you're translating a very complicated legal document where it's really, really important that you get all of the nuance right and that you have everything correct, because every mistake actually is dangerous. And this is I think where DeepL shines, comparing to maybe some of the consumer oriented propositions on the market. And this is really also where we're focusing as a company, talking to enterprise customers, making sure that we can help them.
Okay, so now you guys are more focusing on enterprise, the business side, not only like a consumer side.
I think we've been a business focused offering always as a company. I think we've seen a lot of this kind of viral uptake in Japan that also kind of obviously has excited us, but also has surprised us a little bit, because we've seen ourselves always like as the professionals when it comes to translation.
So all the virality in Japan got your attention back then?
Yeah, totally. I mean, like it was the start for us over here, and that got us a lot of credibility into our business customers. A lot of the relationships right now that we have with business customers came out of this. But we're developing this further, and we're building really for those bigger businesses who have those very sophisticated needs for translation. It's not only about translating one email, but creating the whole strategy around translation in a company, and how do we go into new markets? How do we globalize Japanese companies?
Yeah, okay. So how big is the user base, customer base for DeepL, like globally and also in Japan right now?
Yeah, so I mean, we're working with over 200,000 businesses globally. So it's a pretty large customer base. But translation and language is an important thing for pretty much every multinational company, every international company. And I think in Japan is our second largest market in the world after Germany, where we are founded of. So it is an incredibly important market for us. And it's also clear for us why it's such an important market, because we are seeing all of those Japanese businesses who really want to sell their products and who have excellent products, but want to be competitive on an international scale. And for them, language is quite often a barrier, and very often we can just solve this problem for them fully.
Okay. So we have 3 topics to talk today, and one is like everyone's sort of thinking like, why not ChatGPT? Why DeepL? And the second thing is the translation gummy is ready. So we'll talk about it later, but you guys are developing the technology, like a future of translation. So we're going to dig deeper on that. And third topic is translation AI becomes an agent. You guys are working on AI agent, like not just translation. So first, why not ChatGPT while DeepL? Like people around the world actually go to ChatGPT for translation. The OpenAI's data shows, which is this, and translation is ranked number 7, like among many other use cases. So that's sort of the proofs, like how many people use translation on ChatGPT. So could you tell us why we still need to use DeepL?
Yeah, I think it kind of goes back to the question on what do you want out of translation. If you want like a very, very quick translation of an email, or you don't use translation that often, if it's just something you need maybe once a week or so, then it's pretty natural that you have your favorite generative AI tool, whichever that's gonna be, and you go there and you get a quick answer. What we're hearing from the users that are actually like really very into translation, and where this is something that they start the day with and maybe end the day with, is they want a tool that they can rely on in every situation that they use, and a tool that can span spoken language, written language, translating documents, translating simple texts, and this is kind of, I think, where DeepL shines. And then when you look at the company, we're offering a lot of functionalities that allow companies to have a better strategy around what is their languages that they're using, how is the translation looking like. They can control styles, terminology, they can apply compliance rules to translation, so that at the end they actually know how their employees are speaking to their customers, they can manage risks with translation much better, they can manage costs with translation much better. And for a company that is sophisticated and being international, that actually matters a lot, and it's incredibly important for them.
So a lot of companies are also using the ChatGPT Enterprise or Gemini Enterprise, and then they could fine-tune those models to fit into like each company's like work style and the cultures. And then I think that one of the use cases will be translation too. So how different is DeepL from them?
I think we make it just very, very simple for our customers. We've seen a lot of our customers trying to use other tools, they're kind of fine-tuning them, kind of customizing them. It just takes a lot of investment. It is an ongoing maintenance struggle for them, because those models get updated, and each and every time they have to run quality assessments. They have to figure out whether it still fulfills their needs. And in those cases, DeepL just kind of like, we offer all of that out of the box to our customers. They don't have to worry about all of this. And in the end, kind of financially for our customers, that works out to a better deal, because they don't have to put so much work into this. And they also have this security that they're working like with a trusted partner for translation, who's going to take care of all of that, what they need, without them really kind of constantly monitoring it.
DeepL also implemented the large language model based translation. I think there was a big update last year. So the company said its performance is better than Google Translate or better than GPT-4 or the Microsoft translation. So, but we now have like GPT-5 and Gemini 3 and all the updated models. So how have you been updating those models to meet the demand?
Yeah, I mean, like basically since the inception of DeepL, and we go back to 2017, we have been always constantly updating our translation models. I think last year there was like a bigger change in the technology that we have been using, in the model sizes that we have been using, which we then also kind of made public because it also meant quite a few changes for our customers, and we wanted to be transparent about that. Since then, the models have gotten updated and revamped quite a few times, and this is like an ongoing process. We are an AI research company. We're building our models. We have like very strong research teams, which comparing to maybe all of the other AI players, and this is like a very, very rapidly moving market, of course, which are constantly updating those models to be on the cutting edge of what's possible with AI nowadays.
The company said they developed an in-house model with the unique 7 years of training data.
Yeah.
So I think the data is dedicated to translation tasks. So the model dedicated to translation, like how do they work well? Like how do they work better than the other models?
There's kind of some secret sauce that I cannot talk about, but like
you cannot talk about.
But in general terms, there's a few things that I can talk about. Like you need to have the proper training data. That is important, and for us, that's both kind of data that we have gathered over the last 7 years from publicly available data, but it's also like custom data that we have developed together with thousands and thousands of translators that we have been working with over the time, and that is kind of the basis for us. And you have to build models that are good in understanding this world, because translation is not only about translating from one language to another. You have to understand what the text means. You have to put in the context of you as a user. You have to put in the context of you as a company into this, and then in order to translate properly. So those models have to understand the world, maybe in some way like generative AI models do to some extent, but also then we're giving them the knowledge, but we're training them for really this one and only task for translation, which means also that those models are extremely good at it because they don't know any other world, they don't know any other task except for this, and we can control them much better, like less hallucinations, more reliable quality, because they're just focused on this one application.
All of the AI companies that I talked about is based in the US. And your company is based in Germany. You founded in Germany.
Yeah.
So what does it mean to found and operate the company in Europe, not in the US, not in Silicon Valley?
I think for us, it was quite an advantage, I think, just given the fact that as a company, you have to understand the problem that you're building for well enough, or like as good as possible. And I think building in Europe, you have all of those languages around you. You have people speaking different, everybody in the company, every employee really understands the problem. And I think that was kind of one of the major reasons for our success also. On the other hand, also we could hire very well in Europe. There's not so many AI companies in Europe, and there's incredible talent available. So kind of going to DeepL was a natural choice for very many of our employees. So that's been playing into our hands.
Okay, yeah, DeepL is $2 billion valuation last year. And so how do you look back the road leading up to now?
It's been a very, very interesting journey. I think we've grown an AI company at a point in time where AI wasn't yet the hype and it wasn't that well known, which kind of was a completely different market, I would even say. And then we've gone through this AI revolution, and we were fast growing already back in the first years, but then kind of all of this storm around AI started to happen, and we got in the middle of it. So we had to relearn how the new environment looks like, which was fascinating.
Yeah.
But for me, kind of building a company is a lot about kind of the new experiences and the growing and the fun of all of it. And I think that has actually contributed to this being a very, very interesting journey.
Okay, great. So moving on to the next part, translation gummy is ready. So actually Japanese people have been like dreaming about Doraemon, the Japanese manga characters. It has like a lot of magical tools, and one of them is the translation thing. And if you eat it, you can speak whatever you want. So DeepL is kind of working on similar technology right now.
Das Verständnis für die Sprache.
I think that's the focus.
Ich meine, wir sind ein
And that's also the understanding of the language and the meaning of the language.
This is you speaking German language, and then they translate it into English. Real time, like the voice that sounds like you, right?
皆さんこんにちは。本日はイベントにお越しくださりありがとうございます。カスタマーサクセスチー
That's
ムの
all.
牧本
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming to the event today. From customer success.
How did you start to develop this technology? Like how does it work in the first place?
I mean, like we've been in the voice space for quite a while, and the way that we're serving our customers with DeepL Voice right now is it is spoken text, spoken language, and then being translated into text. And actually, in the business environment, it really works well because you can follow a meeting and you just kind of read the subtitles. It is very fast. Also, that makes for a very interactive experience. But the next logical step of that is like our customers asking for, we also want to have the voice output of that. And it is more of a challenging task because there's many more kind of questions to resolve, and specifically the speed, the latency.
Right.
How quickly do you hear the translation? That is very crucial. It is easier in text, and I think in very many environments we will still be working with speech-to-text translation in the future also, but there's also plenty of environments where you need that spoken-to-spoken translation, and figuring out how to put that all together and still have the speed that our customers rely on, that is going to be, or still is, the kind of biggest challenge that we're facing.
How are you going to do voice-to-voice in person?
It's either through your mobile phone and like having a headphone or having your PC. I mean, in very many like business meetings, you have your laptop open either way, and there is maybe like a virtual meeting going on because you have somebody dialing in from their home. So actually, that's not a big problem. I think that's something that is already established in all of business situations.
So what's the most important underlying technology to do all of this?
I think there's two elements to that. The speech-to-text recognition, like kind of basically being able to understand what we're talking. That's not a problem if you're like in a professional studio. That's not a problem if you're in a well-set-up meeting room in a business. It becomes much more complicated if you're like in a restaurant and it's very loud outside and it's busy. Like speech recognition just doesn't work so reliably there. So there's still quite some challenges related to that. And the other part is translating spoken language itself. Spoken language is totally different than written language, and the models have to learn on how to translate it in a way that is understandable. We're just talking in a very different way than we are writing, and we had to teach our models on how to deal with that.
So how is this development so far? How soon are we going to see this?
Yeah, we are really we are known for when we present a product, this really works. And this is kind of the DeepL stance that we promise to our customers. So we do not like to go out with products that are kind of half-baked and not yet ready, which means we still kind of need a couple of months of polishing on the full voice-to-voice translation technology. But I think in the next couple of months, we're gonna see this being brought out more and more to our customers.
You mean early next year, first
Early.
quarter of the next year?
I don't want to commit so much. Like we usually do not pre-announce product launches, but it's coming, and we will be working first with some of our customers to just kind of also test this in real life and make sure that this is really fulfilling this kind of quality bar that everybody expects of DeepL, and then this is going to be publicly available to everyone.
How are we going to use this technology? Like, where can we use this technology?
Quite a few applications, I think. I mean, in meetings, business meetings, that's still like one of those areas that we're focusing on the most. Just go onto your Microsoft Teams or your Zoom meeting and have this translation available. This works in speech to text right now, but there's also very many customer service companies that we're talking to right now, whether it's via phone or in many other environments where we're gonna see this coming up. Every kind of time you don't have a screen in front of you and you can't read the subtitles, basically.
So you're going to basically provide this through those like video call services on Zoom, Google Meet, Teams, and
this is just kind of the start and the beginning, and that's going to be there available for everyone. But I'm really also excited about those specialized use cases. Like we've been, just a couple of weeks ago, we've been talking to a customer who want to integrate that into their car connectivity. Like they have, it's a premium car brand. In case something breaks with the car maybe, or you have a problem, you always have this button where you can call the manufacturer and talk to them. And quite often they have people over there who don't speak the language, and they want to provide this experience on your car has just broken down, you're on a highway, you're extremely stressed, and you just get an experience in your own language, so that you don't have to worry about that. Like, and there's a lot of these kinds of examples of where companies just want to make sure that their clients feel good and feel safe and feel confident, and implementing DeepL Voice can help them in this.
Yeah, I think there will be a variety of use cases for this. So how are you thinking about that?
Yeah, for us in those situations, it's all about providing the technology and working with the companies for them to integrate. So we not only see ourselves as a full product provider to just integrate into Zoom and MS Teams, etc., but also just provide this technology and help our customers to build with technology in their products. That is going to be a big part of the product roadmap.
So, is Japanese going to be included when you first launch this, or?
I'm pretty sure that it's going to be included. Yeah, I mean, like this is an important market for us, and we know how big of a market it is, and we also know from our customers how much they're waiting for this. So I would assume that Japanese is going to be one of the languages included.
But when I think about English to Japanese and Japanese to English translation, like it sort of takes time to confirm whether this is a positive sentence or a negative sentence. That's one of the hardest challenges when it comes to English to Japanese translation. So how are you going to address this?
Yeah, and by the way, that's not unique to Japanese. Actually, German is pretty similar. Like English to German and German to English is similarly complicated because the sentence structure is completely different. So there's many ways of tackling that, and just kind of being really fast about the translation makes a better experience. Being able to like also predict sometimes what are you gonna say. Basing on your context, basing on the former conversations that you might have had, or maybe basing on the text that you have written, helps a lot. And sometimes you can also make it in a way where you start translating and then the translation corrects itself. It's not the best experience, but sometimes you can allow for that, and it actually makes the whole experience a little bit more interactive.
Yeah, I think as long as the user is human, I think the human touch sort of thing is important
Yeah.
to users, right?
Yeah. I think it's got to feel natural, and I think there's going to be a lot of development over the next years on how natural this can become, and how really it feels like you're really having this conversation with each other.
When you talked about you thinking about incorporating this feature into the video call services, but the big tech company themselves are working on this technology. Like Google implemented this sort of feature into some languages on Google Meet, or also Microsoft also working on this. Or Apple launched the AirPods with translation feature, live translation feature. So how are you differentiating DeepL technology from those companies?
It's just better. I mean, like what we're hearing from our customers is that we can constantly deliver better translations and translations that work much better for them. And we've been working in this highly competitive field basically since the beginning of DeepL. It's been always the case that big tech had their own solutions for translation, whether that's text or voice. I think we're really focused on this problem. I think we really understand our customers very, very well in what they need, and we have the research firepower, so to say, to also tackle those problems in the right way. And that hasn't changed for us so much. Like this is still the same environment, and I'm sure we can compete with all of the embedded functionalities also in the coming years.
When we get this technology in hand, are we still gonna need to learn foreign languages for work?
I think we still will want to learn languages. I think it's just very human to kind of want to understand each other like very, very like natively in a way, and connect with each other. I do think that the necessity for actually doing this is going to be becoming lower and lower, and we will not be forced into doing this. It's going to be more of an active choice. Do we want to do it, or do we think that's valuable for us? And I think in all of those situations where people actually didn't have the opportunity or chance to learn languages, we're going to be solving many, many more of those problems. And I see a lot of our customers now thinking in language in different ways. They're focusing on getting the best people for getting the job done, and not the people that can speak the language. And that allows them to actually plan their organizations in a completely different way.
Right. I think I heard many like multinational companies so easily they lean into like hiring bilingual people to smoothly communicate with each other, but they can more focus on their expertise, not just language, and so that's the
and that makes the hiring process so much easier, because looking out for the expert who can also speak the right combination of languages, that is hard. And just finding the expert and making the technology kind of solve all of the language problems, that's a big game changer for many companies. Yeah,
people like me who speak English, it feels a little bit threatened.
I think there's still a lot of value in kind of being able to connect on like maybe a personal level over this language. I wouldn't discard that. I think that's still very, very, very important, and I would still tell my kids to learn languages. But I think like some of those experiences are just gonna get so much easier.
Yeah, great to hear that. So moving on to the final part, translation AI becomes an agent. You're working on not only like translation related products, but also the AI agent, DeepL agent. So I wonder why DeepL is working on AI agent. Like this is general purpose AI agents, not just translation. Why agents? Why now?
Yeah, I think that goes a little bit back to kind of where the company comes from. And we've always seen ourselves as an AI research company but also like as an applied AI research company, like bringing products to life and making sure that this technology can have an impact in people's lives. And language was just this amazing first place where AI has made such a big difference. But we have this DNA in the company of like looking for more and trying to see where can we bring AI into even more aspects. And we've seen, there is also an opportunity to extend our product base and bring something to life that serves more. And this is kind of how the AI agent came to life. So for us internally, that's like a very consistent path. For me personally, that's a very consistent path. I understand that from the outside, if you look at DeepL through the lens of language, might be something new. I think in a year or so, we're not going to have this question anymore.
Right. But AI agents is such a promising topic, like technology theme in the AI space right now. Like that's what everybody's working on, like Google, OpenAI, Anthropic, Microsoft, and all like other companies. How are you going to compete with them, and like how is your technology developed through the improving the translation, like contribute to the evolution of AI agents?
Yeah, I think there's a few aspects to that. So like we are bringing obviously kind of multiple years of knowledge on how to train models and also how to bring those models into products and into products that are being used by really hundreds of millions of users. So I think that benefits us. The benefits that we also have, like we have started from scratch on this, so we could design our systems when it comes to the DeepL agent from scratch and like really build fresh. That always brings a lot of advantages. And then kind of the way that you're interacting with AI agents, it is language. You're talking to them, whether voice or written language. And I think we also bring a lot of expertise in language and understanding this language and kind of talking to our users. So I think, especially when it comes to multilingual agents, that's going to benefit us quite a lot. And I think especially in markets like Japan, this is going to be important. We want to interact with those agents in our own language. So I think there's a lot there, and I think the aspect of DeepL being just this trusted brand for our customers, that also gives us a lot of advantages in this market, especially when it comes to new players who are just coming in and who do not bring in this vast AI knowledge that we have acquired over the years.
What do your agents do to us, basically?
Yeah, we're super good at automating all of the kind of ordinary administrative boring tasks that you have in everyday's life. Take any systems that you're using right now. We don't need any integrations. It is extremely to use for everyone, whether you're a technical user or not a technical user. You can start using it right away, and it's just gonna work, and it's just gonna get those things done for yourself.
So DeepL agents is basically computer use agents, which like handles a lot of data, a lot of the computing, and that means that it will cost a lot. It will cost much money. It takes so much time, and all the other big techs are working on this too. So could a company like DeepL afford to do this?
I think we are on a scale where we definitely can, and also looking at the kind of experience that we have in translation, we've been very good at optimizing and making our models efficient for whatever use case you have at hand right now. That was important for us because we wanted to be fast and also efficient when we're serving our customers in translation. That applies in the same way to the agent. Like there's areas which cost a lot of compute, but you can optimize optimize them and make them leaner, make them faster. And that's going to bring both benefits to us in terms of like us making able to provide this at a reasonable cost, but also it's going to be faster for our users then. So that's a kind of a win-win situation. And in those cases where we're working with our customers already right now, we've seen kind of the price to value ratio work really, really well.
Don't you need to build a massive data center or buy massive cloud from cloud provider?
I mean, that's part of what we're doing, and that's part of what we've always been doing.
Yeah.
We've been building our own data centers. We've been buying cloud compute. That's part of who we are. But we're also not a small 20 people startup anymore. DeepL is 1,000 people and offices all around the world. So we totally do have the capacities to do that, and also the kind of financial resources to deliver on this.
So before we wrap up, I have one more question about the future of DeepL. So what would DeepL do in the next 10 years? What would the company look like after 10 years?
10 years is like ages in the AI era.
I mean,
lot of things can happen until then. So 10 years is really, really hard to forecast. I think we all do not know what the world is going to look like in 10 years, and this is like really super exciting. For us, like we are still very, very committed to being the solution of choice for our customers when it comes to language. But we're also incredibly excited about the DeepL agent and how we can extend beyond translation. So I think it's going to be a mix. And I think the most important task for any AI company nowadays is to be extremely agile and to move very fast, because this market is going to be changing each and every year. So whatever the new buzzword is going to be in 26 or 27, we're going to have to see how important that is for DeepL and how that fits into our product strategy.
Okay, great to hear that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
ここまで DeepL CEO のヤレック・クテロフスキーさんにお話を伺いました。本日もご視聴いただきありがとうございます。ワンオンワンテックでは今後も注目のテックストーリーをお届けしていきます。ぜひチャンネル登録と高評価、そしてクロスディグ公式 X のフォローもお願いいたします。So, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you very much.